Boys and girls, Tyler Mahoney here with Darin Lankford. He's one of our contributors to the website. Wanted to give you a quick bass report. We got the Big Bass Bash coming up. We're going to try to get several bass reports this week. Darin's been out the last few days. Darin, what lake conditions and what have you been seeing? You caught some fish.
Yeah, I've been going out for the last couple, 2 or 3 weeks, and it's been a little tough, but it's really starting to turn the corner right now.
Yeah.
The fish on Truman have really moved up. They're up on the secondary points where they need to be. The Big Bass Bash is going to hit pretty good for Truman. It's be nice if it was a week later. The water is a little flatter, but it's going to work for a lot of people. Just need to stick to that steeper banks, secondary points, and get in, and then occasionally hit the backs, especially if the wind's blowing in the back. Get your spinner baits tuned up for the backs of the pockets. Leave your crankbaits at home. There's too much trash in the water. You can't get up where the fish are at. Put on a big flipping bait. The fish are up in the bushes. Don't worry too much about flipping the grass or anything. Flip the defined bushes. And what I've noticed the last few times, a lot of times you'll flip in, and I mean they'll get it on the fall and just take off straight down. What I've noticed Saturday fishing in the rain, and I think we might have a little cloud cover. It's going to be different if it's sunny or cloudy. I noticed when you flip in there when it's raining or it's cloudy, you kind of got to yo-yo it just a little bit. Not really work it, but just kind of just yo-yo it over a limb a couple times and then just hold it. Then pull it out and flip again. They've been just grabbing it and hanging on. You'll feel weight. And don't be afraid to set the hook. You can get it out. I hate for you not to set the hook and it'd be an 8-pounder and it cost you $100 grand.
Right.
But the fishing's really starting to turn on, and it's just going to get better.
And you've been staying more towards the lower to mid lake area, a little cleaner water.
No, not necessarily. I've been fishing a lot of T-bow, and a T-bow's pretty dirty right now. The reason I fish T-bow, it's got a lot of rock. It's got a lot of rock in it, a lot of steeper banks. You get up in the upper ends of the Grand and stuff, it flattens out, and the water's so high that it gets real big.
A lot of water.
Really, a lot of water to try to find them little boogers in. But you get into T-bow, it's more defined. The banks are a little steeper. You'll have the same deal in the Palmy, same deal in the lower Osage. You can fish them areas close, but I would stick, because you're going to want to run in and out. You're going to catch a lot of fish, so you're going to want to weigh as much as you can. If you make that big long run up, you got to come all the way back to Stair Creek or Osage Bluff. So I would concentrate in that 6-7 miles of each one of them rings. I wouldn't get too far away from it, because the water is going to get big on you as you get up. So stay in them steeper areas and them rockier spots. Look for points and fish the back ends of the pockets. And remember, in the springtime, the wind is your friend. I mean, if that wind's blowing back there, it's blowing them shad up shallow, and them fish are going with them.
What water temperature have you been seeing your last trips out?
I seen some up to 61 in the back of some creeks, and the fish were farther back in there. If you get into that high 50s, low 60s, then fish will tend to be halfway back to the back. Now, during the rain, we had a lot of runoff with this last rain, and the water temperature dropped a little bit in the backs, and the fish tend to be halfway back to the mouth. They were out this little far. I did catch a few in the backs, but out to the mouth. Now, one thing I'll tell you, the spinner bait is a really good bait when it's sunny. And I've been catching a few on it when it's sunny. But when it got cloudy the other day, I just switched to a vibrating jig. And I caught a lot of fish when it was cloudy and rainy on a vibrating jig, and that's a big fish bait also. So if you're coming to Truman, I'd stick with the vibrating jigs, flipping a big bait, a big creature bait, a sweet beaver or a missile bait or something like that with a big sinker that gets through that stuff, so you're not trying to fight getting it through the brush. Just put a big sinker on so it goes.
And that vibrating jig, that rips through that grass pretty good.
Right through it.
And will they hit it like... Because I've watched videos where folks, they intentionally will kind of let it sit and then rip it out of there, and they'll, on that reaction, hit. What did you notice on yours?
Most of the fish, I'm not catching in the grass. So it's usually in the bush. It's all been in the bush. So You get in the backs, it's even the bushes.
Okay.
If you can just find, even if it's an isolated bush in the grass, you know, or you can find a hardwood in the grass, some kind of something with some mat, you know, some wood.
Okay.
Even it don't have to be very big.
Yeah.
Get a little bush.
Yeah.
But just some kind of bush, and just reel that thing right beside it. And if you feel them hit just keep reeling on that vibrating jig. If you feel them hit it and you jerk, a lot of times you're not going to get them.
Yeah.
Just keep reeling. It's a little bit like a topwater bait.
Yeah.
Just keep reeling until you feel them load up, and then go ahead and let them have it. But you better use some big line, and because they're juiced up. That water temperature's gotten warm enough now. They're not in that sluggish wintertime mode. When you set the hook, they're letting you know you got them.
Heck yeah.
So.
Well, hey, great report from Darin Lankford. We're going to have a lot of stuff from him this year, but really great updates leading into the week of the Big Bass Bash. Good luck to all of you guys out there. Stay safe. We'll catch you here on the next one. Thanks so much for watching.